go ahead and begin, and others can join as they get to signing in. Good morning. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Jim Danhauser. I'm a volunteer with the Cape Cod and Islands chapter of SCORE, and I wanted to cover just a few introductory items before turning things over to our facilitator for today, Amedeo Tolentino. You see listed on this slide the organizations that provide assistance to us in presenting this webinar. We're supported by the Cape Cod and Islands, the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, and by the various chambers of commerce located in towns throughout Cape Cod and the islands, and also supported by the Community Development Partnership located in Eastham, Massachusetts. And as always, we're very grateful to these organizations for their ongoing support of our educational programming efforts. For those of you who are not familiar with SCORE, you are forgiven. We are a fully volunteer nonprofit organization and a resource partner of the U.S. Small Business Administration. SCORE's mission is to foster vibrant small business communities through mentoring and education. We've been pursuing this work since our founding in 1964 through educational opportunities like this webinar, and by providing mentoring assistance to people who are in business or who are thinking about starting a business. At the Cape Cod and Islands chapter of SCORE, we benefit from having over 50 volunteer mentors and subject matter experts, people with a broad array of differing business experiences and expertise. So if you'd like to avail yourself of mentoring assistance from these individuals, you can call the SCORE office at 508-775-4884, or go online to seek an appointment at www.capecod.score.org and click on the Find a Mentor tab. Importantly, all of the mentoring services that SCORE provides are absolutely free and completely confidential. I also know that many of you on today's webinar are located in geographic areas served by other SCORE chapters in our district. It's a district that covers the entirety of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Mentors and subject matter experts in each of those chapters are similarly ready to provide mentoring assistance to you. You see their website listed here. Should you like to seek mentoring assistance from any of those chapters, you would go on those websites, click on the Find a Mentor tab, and get started. I will post those addresses in the chat feature later on during the course of Amedeo's discussion as well. You also see listed on this slide a reference to Coastal Community Capital. They are a lending organization based here on the Cape that is actually licensed to do business throughout the state of Massachusetts. We at Cape Cod SCORE work frequently together with Coastal, both in helping their clients to better flesh out their business plans and in helping our clients to more fully understand the full range of financing alternatives that may be available to them. They're very easy to work with, and I encourage you to reach out to them if at any point in time you have questions about what financing you might be able to achieve. Last preliminary, today's procedures. All participants, other than our facilitator and myself, have been muted. If you have any questions, I'd ask that you enter them into the Q&A feature using the button that you should see at the bottom of your screen. I'd appreciate it if you didn't enter them into the chat, because I'm going to be following questions as they come along and pose them to Amedeo during the course of his discussion. And it's simply easier for me to follow one feature rather than having to toggle back and forth. We will answer as many questions as we possibly can during the course of the discussion. Also be aware that the webinar is being recorded. As I mentioned, we will send a link to the recording to everyone who registered for the session once that recording is available. We're going to launch a short poll just before the end of the session. I'd appreciate you responding to it before you leave. Nothing magical. It simply is an effort to make sure that our efforts in education are meeting the needs of our small business clientele. And with that, I'm very happy to turn today's session over to Amedeo Tolentino. Amedeo, take it away.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jim, Robert, and SCORE. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. to talk about SMS marketing. Let me share my screen so that I can pull up the slides. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. I'll take a second. Sometimes it takes a minute to switch over.
Oh, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So in this webinar, what I'm going to cover is what is SMS marketing. Hopefully, I'll demystify what is SMS marketing. I'm going to go through some common use cases and some best practices. Before I get started, since this is an SMS marketing course, along the way, I'm going to show the product that we're building, which is Preneur. I'll get into that a little bit later. But I wanted to put up my number here. And if anyone on the call want to shoot me a text message, I will text you back the slides that I'm going through now at the end of the talk. So you don't have to take notes. There's lots of information on the slides. And hopefully I can save you some time, but also you can get an idea of what SMS marketing is, because I'm going to automate the whole thing. So when you text me, I'm going to automate a text message back. And at the end of the call, I'm going to automate a message that's going to go out to you with the slides. So hopefully you'll experience what the product feels like. Shoot me a text, say hi, and I will respond to everybody at the same time. I will wait 2 minutes just to give people time to do that. I will also bring up my number at the end of this talk so that you get a chance to text me again so that I can get you the material from this presentation. Many of you have noticed that I magically responded back to everyone and I asked people to join my contact list. I can keep you up to date via SMS in terms of best practices or any changes in SMS, but also I do one-on-one training. I will shoot you a link via SMS where you could schedule time with me. We could talk strategy and implementation. With that said, I'm going to start the presentation. My name is Amadeo Tolentino. I'm the CEO of Preneur and the co-founder. And Preneur is an application that's focused on helping small businesses have better relationships with their customers, marketing, and also sell directly, right? So it's an all-in-one solution. So what we want to try to do is replace MailChimp, Wix, and any other e-commerce tools. You bring it all into one, and you can use your mobile app to run your whole business. So let's start from the beginning. What exactly is SMS? So SMS stands for short message service. That's it. But most commonly known as, text messages. That's what SMS means, short message service, right? I like to start by demystifying. There's a lot of myths around SMS that I want to just demystify from the beginning. So here are some of the myths. SMS marketing always gets business into trouble. That's not true. It's false. SMS marketing laws are too complicated to understand. That's also not true. SMS marketing is spam. That is not true if you do it in a compliant way. And I'll show you how to do it compliantly. Now that we got that out the way, let's talk about why is it so effective as a marketing channel, right? It's the most direct and intimate channel that you're going to have with your customers. It has global reach, where you can text anyone, anywhere in the world. And it supports two-way interactions. And last but not least, it has epic open rates. And I'll get into the numbers a little bit. But if most people are using social media as a channel and or email as a channel, SMS is one of the most effective channels you could use to reach people. Right? So let's take a look at the numbers, right? 98% open rate. That is incredible, right? Compared to email. 98% of your clients want to receive SMS. People don't really want to have conversations on the phone. They want a quick way to reach out and ask questions and engage. And SMS is the preferred channel for quickly asking questions and engaging and nurturing, right? 90% of text messages are read within the first 3 minutes. This goes to show the power of the visibility, right? I have some comparisons of how SMS compares to other channels like email, but I really like to drive the point here in terms of the powerful channel. It's going to give you the visibility and it's going to give you the reach. Most other channels are not going to give you the same visibility and reach, but in combination, if you're using social media and email marketing, it's a great additional channel for you to use as part of your marketing mix, right? So let's just talk about how SMS compares to social media and email marketing. It sounds like I'm beating up on social media and email marketing. I'm not, but I just want to kind of give it some context in terms of how powerful it is and why you should use it alongside the other channels that you're using. So in social media, your open rates are about 2.2%. A lot of people don't know this, but the posts on social media are controlled by algorithms. Social media controls who sees what and when. So if you have 600 people following you, it's only about 15 people that are seeing your posts. Not all organic reach is really dead on social media, right? It's a great channel for you to use in terms of gaining attention, but strategically you want to use that channel as just a point to convert people off of social media into a CRM that you own. I'll also say that it's a channel that you don't own. The data on social media, you don't own your customers' data. You don't know their first, last name. You can't segment by age. You can't segment by gender. So in essence, you're building up a list that you don't own. That's why I prefer always building lists on email and or SMS, because you own that data. The way I think about it is on social media, you are renting, and at any point you're subject to the rules and regulations of those companies. But when you build your own list, you own it and you have a direct channel to your customers. Email has a 16% open rate. And this is just an open rate. I'll get into click-through rates later on, but this is just visibility. I open it and I see it. I open it and I delete it, right? SMS has a 98% open rate. They will see your message. Right? I'll compare SMS with email in more detail, right? So the open rate in email is much lower. We talked about that. The second metrics that I want to focus on is the click-through rate, meaning if you compose an email, in the body of the email, there is an action that most likely you want your customers to take. The rate at which people click the links or whatever the action you want people to take, that's the click-through rate, right? So if I can't see it, I can't click it. With SMS, you can add links, and the click-through rates are really high, especially if you compose your SMS and you're using personalization and you mention the person's first name. I'll go into that a little bit later, right? My favorite thing about SMS is how long it takes to compose a message. 160 characters and you're done. I don't know how many people here have spent hours or, finding the right image or look and feel for an email blast, right? So again, if you're looking at effort to output or effort to conversion, right? Spend a lot of effort putting together an email. It's not really going to convert. The effort is much lower on SMS. The medium is much simpler, and the impact is much higher. Then the similarity is the frequency rate. You should send once a week is the cadence of if you're doing an SMS blast. And in Inpreneur, we get this question a lot. You can segment lists, meaning you can have your VIP customers. You could have a list of everyone who lives in a particular geographical location. So you can create different segmentations of customers, but the cadence should be once a week. I talked a little bit about this earlier, but I just want to drop the point home that organic reach on social media is dead. As of 2022, organic reach on IG is about 2.2%. So if you have 652 people that follow you, only about 15 will see your post, right? So this is visibility, not action, right? So people need to see it, and then they'll need to then take action. Right. On social media, it's basically a general announcement. It's like a bulletin board. You're talking to everyone at the same time, right? You can't segment on age, gender, interest. So essentially you're doing a mass blast post. And this is just an example of a post that I took on Instagram to kind of drive the point home. Mary Jane, she does mindfulness meditation practices. So the post is broad, it's to everyone. You can't really target, but she's really targeting busy moms, right? So it's hard to figure out like, how do I directly message to the busy moms, right? And this is what her text blast looks like on Preneur. So first she could say, hey, Jackie, what you doing? So she's injecting personality, whatever your brand is. You can add emojis, you can have a really, conversational tone. I came across this article that made me think of you. Benefits of mindfulness for busy moms. Tap the link, let me know what you think, right? So you can really deliver this personalized value, but you can do it at scale where you're sending this out to everyone that you've categorized as moms that are busy, you want to communicate with, you want to add value via text message. And she does the value add first, and then most likely she gets a response to, hey, let me schedule a one-on-one consultation with you. And then she typically responds back with a link where people could schedule time right on Preneur, which closes the whole loop. So that's the big difference, right? You're posting to a bulletin board. You're not able to have a really personalized way of engaging people at scale. So you're not writing a message one-on-one, right? You're sending a blast to your list, and that list could have 50, 100 people that's going out and reaching everyone at once. Right? So my strategy for, we get questions a lot. So how do I use social media and SMS together, right? So I like to think of marketing in terms of, the goal of marketing is to add value, right? But if you look at it from using like a funnel, social media should be where you go and create awareness before the purchase, where you go to create awareness, right? And then you use a system like Preneur to keep, grow, and nurture the relationship, right? It's really hard to nurture relationships on social media because you don't have a personalized ability to reach people, but it's a great place to gain awareness. So you gain an awareness, and then you want to move them off and say, hey, do you mind if I add you to my phone book? They'll add themselves to your phone book. And then once you have them in your phone book, you then own the relationship, you own the data, and then you use SMS to nurture the relationship. And then whatever the buy action or the sell action is, can happen off of social media. So that's a good pattern to use. Right. So let's talk about best practice for SMS marketing. Text is the most intimate channel. You just have to be mindful that, when you send out a text message, you want to be empathetic of the people that are receiving it. They can be, at home with their kids or sleeping in bed or at work or out on a date. So it's just good to be empathetic around, this is an intimate channel. And a lot of people that get in trouble with sending messages is that they're sending messages outside, like don't message people at 2 o'clock in the morning. So what I like to say is just message ethically and you will see incredible results. So what are the rules of SMS marketing? So in the United States, the governing body that governs SMS is the Telephone Communication Protection Act. And there's just 2 rules, that's it, just 2 rules. 1, you need to obtain consent. 2, you need to provide disclosure, right? And Preneur, the application that we're building, automates all this for you, but it's good for you to know. So people have to opt in, and there's multiple ways of opting in. When you guys send me a text message, you're basically opted in earlier, and I automatically responded back. But you also have to provide a disclosure, meaning make it easy for people to opt out. At any point, you can just respond back to my text and say stop or unsubscribe, and you'll automatically be removed from the list. So you want to make it super clear the value you're providing. You want to make it easy for people to opt out, right? Again, just back to messaging ethically. Here is a opt-in form that Preneur uses. Again, once you download the Preneur app, you get a little micro website, and part of your micro website, there's an opt-in form, and we'll automatically set this up for you. You capture first name, last name, zip, someone's phone number. You get to ask people, why do you want to connect with me? That question is great if you want to segment different customers into different buckets, right? Again, not to beat up on social media, but when people follow you, you don't capture the motivation. I don't know if you're following because you want to book time with me, maybe like the images or the pictures. But in here, you get to ask a question. Hey, how do you want to connect with me? Do you want to schedule time? Do you want to see my products? Do you want to, whatever your business is. So based on that response, you can categorize people into buckets. And that's just an example of what an opt-in form looks like. And it's compliant in that way. And then as part of an opt-in form, you get to set up an automated response that goes back to your customer. So they opt in, depending on how you set up your segmentation questions. Hey, you want to schedule time with me? If they choose that, you can automatically respond back and say, hey, first name, so happy you want to schedule time with me. Tap the link, let's schedule time one-on-one. And then they'll go ahead and hit the link, they'll schedule time. If they pick the right time, you can automate a response back saying, thank you for scheduling time. Your appointment has been confirmed, right? So the beauty of that pattern is that there's 3 or 4 touches that you can automate that allows you time for higher level function, right? So you automate that because you want to be in front of your customers, adding value, right? So now I'm going to shift gear a little bit and I'm going to talk
Amadeo, we did have one question before you do that.
Yep.
This comes from Daniela Camacho.
Yep.
Telegram groups, for example, are they similar to a type of SMS marketing? I mean,
No.
even if it's a one-way interaction from the Telegram group host, it's still a messaging platform. So does it compare?
No, it doesn't compare because Telegram requires the end user to have Telegram installed. I should say SMS is the only application that comes pre-installed into every phone. So if your customers are not necessarily, you're not sure if they're using Telegram. People use Telegram for creating groups. And when you create groups, essentially at that point, you've converted them into into a system. So at some point, like so people use Telegram groups for, let's say you are a health coach, and a lot of the health coach, they'll use a Telegram group to talk to people in a Telegram group, right? But you don't know if they have Telegram installed as an app already, right? So I didn't need everyone to have SMS installed in the beginning of my talk when I said, hey, text me your number, right? That's something else that I should know. There's no app installation for the end user. Inpreneur will give you a virtual phone number. You guys saw my virtual phone number. And that number acts just like as a text number. So yes, Telegram, although you're messaging, it's slightly different than SMS because not everyone has Telegram installed.
Great. That answers it perfectly.
I want to make sure that I answer that question before I move on.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, great. Is there any, I see another question there. Was that the only question, Jim?
Yes, it is. They were just, Daniela was just saying, okay, thank you.
Got it. Yeah. And Daniela, just so you know, there are people that use other messaging platforms, but they'll use Preneur at top of the funnel to capture audience and then send them a text link. So here's a use case. I don't mean to get sidetracked, but if you're using Telegram, you can capture people into your Preneur, send them a text list, and then in that text list,
vinegar water through.
Right, just add a link to Telegram where they could download the app. And if you have a group on Telegram, you want to deliver them a message, and here's an app you can download, and join my Telegram group.
If somebody has an open mic, I'd appreciate them closing it because there is background noise. Sorry, Amadeo.
No problem. So let's move on to writing the perfect business text message. And let me just check some of the messages that are coming in here. This is important. So this is my step-to-step guide on how to write a great business text message, because it requires a mind shift. If you're used to doing email blasts, your communication is long form, and it's the reverse. So like, think of text message more of a tweet versus a multi-paragraph communication form, right? Like anything else, here are my 6 steps. The very first step is you want to decide your communication goal, right? And I'll just back up a little bit and say this should be a strategy that you use across any one of your marketing channels, right? Even if you're on social media, there's a lot of people that we work with that they'll just post without a goal, right? You want to have a clear goal. You want to decide what your communication goal is, right? In this case, decide your goal. And then you want to choose your tone of communication and keep it friendly, right? Some people are friendly, some people use emojis, some people like to showcase their personality. And it's great because it allows you to connect on an intimate channel, in an intimate way. You always want to introduce yourself. And if you do these steps, it won't, your unsubscribe list will be almost zero. You want to introduce yourself. You want to keep it short and clear. You want to add relevant attachments and link, right? I cannot stress this point enough. Typically, if I send out a text blast, I'm very clear about what is the action that I want people to take. And then I'll add relevant information attachments. It's going to help them drive that action, right? Whether it's a link to a webinar that I'm doing, or here's a flyer for an event that I want you to come to, but I want to be clear. So you can add media to your SMS, right? And step number 6 is super, it could be a lot of very underrated when I see a lot of people send out text messages, is you want to make it clear that it's a two-way channel, right? At the end of the message, you could say, hey, text me back if you have any questions, right? So now, here are my 6 steps.
Amadeo, we have one more question that just came in.
Yep,
This is from Lloyd Lucina.
Lloyd, good to meet you.
How do you find the future clients' numbers? Do you buy a list?
Yeah, that's a great question, Lloyd. You want to build your list organically. Like buying lists it's not the best way to build your customer list. We at Preneur, we have some strategies, offline and online marketing. For example, the Preneur app has a QR code where if you're in front of your customers, the very first thing I always do is I capture information. I'm like, hey, do you mind? And also we have the Preneur wristband. Those are offline marketing, right? Where I just say, can I tap your phone and the Preneur profile pops up? I'll show you what that looks like, which is the opt-in form, and I capture that information into my phone book, right? So part of your social media marketing strategy should be to kind of shift in terms of, I want to create value, and then of those people that think that this is valuable, I want to get them to enter to my phone book so that I can communicate with them via SMS, right? It's super important to build your list organically. If you have a list already, you can import it. But the most successful companies are the ones that are building organic lists. You cannot walk into a retailer without them asking them you for your phone number. Just check out at any retailer, they'll ask you, hey, can I enter your phone number for our rewards program, right? So that strategy, I'm getting sidetracked, but that's a strategy where they're using a lead carrot, enter the reward program in exchange for your number and your data, right? There's lots of different strategies that I can show you guys in a subsequent, have a follow-up conversation on how to build your list. But that's a good question. So in short, purchase lists is spam because you don't have you didn't get permission to send them a message. It's really frowned upon, right? You want to get permission and you want to be ethical about how you send messages to people. Especially with a lot of the phishing SMSs happening today, it really doesn't work. I don't see it work at all. Right? Hopefully I answered your question. I'll pause. I'll pause for a follow-up question.
No, go right ahead. You did answer that fine.
Okay, great. So here are the 6 steps. I'm just going to breeze through some SMS examples to show you some good examples, some good use case of what a great SMS looks like, right? So here's some common use cases, is direct incentives. Direct incentives are great, right? This is the most common use case. Deals, coupons, offer, promos, product and service. It's the most popular campaign of SMS marketing. So if we break down this SMS line by line, we can go through some of the principles that we talked about. Hi, David. This is Maddie, right? Right from the beginning, you acknowledge the person and you establish who you are, right? Study shows that you can increase conversion 30% just by acknowledging people and just introducing yourself, right? It's very simple, right? A lot of the spam text messages you get, it's like, it sounds like a broadcast. That's when you know it's not authentic, right? So she goes into, this is Maddie from Vermont Home Furnishing. Thanks for your continued business. Take 20% off your next purchase with the coupon code. And then she goes on to add a link at the very end of the SMS, right? You acknowledge the person, introduce yourself, say, this is the reason why I'm sending you this message, take 20% off, but here's a link where you can actually go and complete that action. And this is done in probably 160 characters, super effective. Now imagine doing this over email, you're picking fonts and colors, and you're trying to find creatives, you're involving some creative team, and you're sending this out. This is super effective because of the simplicity of it. Right. Product launch is another great use case. If you have some new product coming out or a new service, and I'll pause it. I'll let everyone, everyone can read. I'll just give it a second here. Again, the pattern here is the same. Acknowledge the person's first name. We have a brand new ... What I love about this message is at the end is like text our showroom and we'll schedule you for a test drive, right? So this is a car dealership example, but you can imagine in this case, there's no link, but they're just trying to drive a conversation, right? Most people think of marketing as blasts, right? Like I want to get my information out there. But in this case, you're just literally fostering a relationship and you can have a conversation. And if they text you back, you can just text back, just like you're texting anyone else. But you're doing this at scale, by the way. So events and promotions are a great way to drive interest, right? I'll take a second to let everyone read. The pattern is pretty much the same. I will note that I use events often on Preneur, our application. It allows you to do events and webinars. So when I build my list, this is a way of me building my list by adding value, right? So I will do a how to use Preneur 101 or Marketing 101 for small businesses as a free webinar. When people register for that webinar, that's how I built my list. That's a list building technique that I use to get people into my phone book. And I'll send out a text message like this to people so they come into the webinar. So it's a great use case. It's an underutilized use case. We are in a value first economy, right? So it's a great use case for value first. Events are not always physical events, it can be virtual events. SCORE does a great job of providing value via events and information. That's an incredible pattern. That's really powerful. That's underutilized. I think can help you build your list. Right. Seasonal promotions are a great use case for sending out SMS. You know, you can do spring is in the air, summer's in the air. Especially for selling seasonal products, we have people that are doing bouncy houses. It's a great reminder. It's going to go right into your phone. People are going to remind, and there's typically like, you add a link, right at the bottom, make an appointment, whatever the purchase is, or talk to us. It's another great use case. The one thing that you'll see about all these messages is that they're short and succinct. Holidays promotions are an awesome use case. And this is great if you're strategically trying to build a list and then figure out what's my editorial calendar, what's my cadence, when should I send messages on via SMS. Holidays is a great, it's just a great time to send out messages. You want to be mindful of, don't do it right on Thanksgiving, like 4 o'clock, people are eating dinner with their family, but you just want to be mindful in that case. One of the things that we're working on right now on Preneur, you can automate, you can queue up a message and say, send this at this date to this list, which is great because you can kind of just automate a lot of the work and then queue it up and then fire it away to your list. Okay. I'm going to pause at referrals because referrals is often an underutilized technique in marketing as a whole. Right? It's a great use case to drive referrals. From an ergonomics perspective, people have their phones in their pockets and people are around people that they care and they love. right? So if you know that you have a customer that really loves your service or is really happy to use your product or service, I kind of create a list called VIPs or whatever list you want to call the list and ask them for the referral. Just because of the ergonomics of the phone, they're most likely next to someone that they care about, right? And SMS is a great way to drive that referral, right? And study shows it is much, much, much cheaper to get customers from referrals. It's like 5 times more expensive to get new customers versus working the referrals. So I don't care if your list is small, you should be working your list, showing them love and asking them for the referrals. It's a really underutilized strategy. I see a lot of people focusing on top of funnel activity. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, and not enough time showing love to the people that are already engaging with their products and services. Great use case. It's super underrated. Everyone's probably gotten the reminder SMS. Doctor's appointment uses a lot for reminders, or what I typically do is, because I set up my webinars, I use Zoom to set up my webinars, but I use Preneur to capture the registration. The only reason why I do it is because it allows me to send a text message, hey, webinar starting in 10 minutes, and it kind of increases my conversion there. That's my particular use case, but there's many different use cases for using a reminder. Educational reason, it's another great use case. A lot of people that are creating services sometimes only see their customers when they're in front of them one-to-one. Here's a great use case for you to add value outside of your normal interaction. So we have people on Preneur that are wellness coaches. They'll send out a text every Monday, hey, don't forget to drink water, right? Or there's a beauty tip of the week. What you're doing is you're just, every touch point, like trust is built. It's touch over time. The more meaningful touch you have with your customers over time, it's going to drive trust. Here's a great way to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Here's a piece of information that I think can add value into your life. And they're going to think about you in that sense. This is going to give you an additional touch point outside of one-to-one interactions or transactions. Update is another great common use case. If you have changes to your business, you have your list of customers, you're building them, in your store, or however you're building your list. Your hours changes, your, any change in your business. And if you look at this pattern here, I'm going to pause just to let everyone take a look at it. At the end of it, there's always a call to action, which is, what do you want me to do? It's like, reply to this text. Our hours have changed. If you have any questions, hit us back. A great way to notify people that items are back in stock. It's a good use case. Right. So if you have products that are out of stock or products that are seasonal, it's a great use case. Just letting people know that things are back in stock. Right. One of the companies that are using Preneur, it's the coffee shop in Brockton, and they typically sell out of this smoothie that they do. So what they do is on Saturdays they're busy. They try to drive traffic for Tuesday and Wednesday evenings where it's slower. So they'll say, hey, this thing runs out a lot on weekends. This mango smoothie that they're doing, come in on Wednesdays and Tuesdays. It's 20% off or something like that. So that's a use case too. Right. Jim, is there any questions before I move on to the next slide? I want to make sure that I'm covering people.
No, not yet, Amadeo.
Okay. So something else that you see or hear a lot of people using is SMS lead generation response, right? So the SMS lead generation response it's a really powerful tool that people are using a lot. You hear it on the radio often. It's basically, hey, text message this keyword to this number and we'll respond back, right? Roxy she's a mega influencer on social media. She's a wellness instructor. She uses this technique a lot and it's super successful. She does a lot of 14-day summer boot camp fitness, but this could be applicable to any business. One of the things to note is on social media, especially on Instagram, if you guys go right now, every post you can't click, there's nowhere to click. You can't go out of Instagram outside of the bio link. So this is a good technique for offline to online, right? Or if you're a flyer, if somebody picks up your flyer, they're offline. Just to understand, offline to online, meaning someone is not online, they're offline, and then online to online, meaning someone is online, right? So in Preneur, you can set up a keyword, you can set up any keyword, as many keywords as you want, fit or like sales or whatever it is that you want to your particular number. And then you can automate the response. You can say, when they text message this keyword, this number, we're going to go ahead and respond back with a message with a clear call to action. In this case, she has a summer challenge that is widely popular. So, and the way she drives awareness to this is by having people text message the keyword fit to her number to join her 14-day body challenge. And there's lots of different people that are doing it for meditation and all sorts of different challenges that that they want to drive traffic to. So it's a great offline to online strategy. That concludes my presentation. I'm going to fly through the product really quick. This webinar was not designed for me to sell you Preneur and tell you much about it. I'm flowering it in, but the goal, for me is to demystify what SMS marketing is, what are some best practices, and how you can use it along as a mix with your other channels. But I'm going to fly through the product, and then I'll take questions. And if you guys want to connect with me personally, I'll put up my number and I can go into details a little more about the Preneur product. I will say that before I go into it, I'll just get the elephant out the room. Fourscore doing this webinar. The product is going to be free. We're 100% free. So, we'll give you a virtual number. Everything that you see will be free for the Score for Score users, and this is our way of giving back. So the Preneur product, we're focusing on small businesses and individuals. We believe that solo entrepreneur is the future. So we're an all-in-one tool. What we want to do is make it easy for people to get up and running quickly, give them a digital presence, give them a way to capture contact information, and give them a phone number so they can connect with their customers. As opposed to a lot of the products that are in the market are designed for mid to bigger teams. So you end up having to cobble together lots of different products. And if you're a small person, you don't really get in your business. You don't start the business to be an IT professional, it's to add value. So we want to take that off your plate so that you could focus on providing value to your customers, right? So at a high level, the product allows you to capture customers into your phone book. There's multiple ways to capture people and build your list. We give you a virtual phone number so you can connect with your customers via SMS. And then we give you a one-stop shop for you to monetize and monetize directly with your audience, right? This is what the product looks like. There is a micro personal website that you get. Once you build your profile, you have your picture, you'll have your phone number, you can add a video at the top, and you can, capture people's contact that way. They can enter their information in. The end users, they don't have to download an app, but you do, because you need to control your personal website. The app allows you to go make the changes to your website and then respond back to text messages from your customers. The number that we give you, the virtual number that you get from Preneur, is totally different than the regular text messages that you have. So you don't confuse the two. You don't give out your personal number, you'll give out your preneur number. You can receive calls in it. You log into the application to respond to text messages and update your personal website. Right. So we get that question a lot. I don't want to confuse people. It's not going to go into your regular text message. It's going to go into the preneur text app. Like I said, we give you a private text number. You can engage people one-on-one. This is what the app looks like. It's just like any other text message system, but for your preneur number, you do it inside of the preneur app. You can put your schedule, right? If you sell time and services, or you want people to book you, you don't have to do the back and forth. You just let people book you right from the preneur. And that once they do that, you capture that information. So somebody had a question around building lists, right? So every action that you take will actually allow you to build a list. So people can enter your phone book by just text messaging your number, you'll automate a response back. Or scheduling time with you, they have to fill out a form that goes into your phone book. Or they want to join a webinar that you're doing, they have to register to the app. Or if they purchase an item from you on Preneur, all those actions create a customer record in the Preneur app. And over time, you'll have a good understanding of, here's John, he went to my webinar, he bought some products, and he scheduled time with me. Maybe I can put him in a list called VIP, and I can use that list to communicate out, right? So it's an all-in-one customer engagement platform in that sense, right? This is something that we're working on, is we want to create this huddle of community of other preneurs, as we call them, so you guys can get help from each other. This is in the works, it's coming, right? So high level, I want to talk about what's included in Preneur. You get a private business number, you get a micro website, right? And you get a bunch of automation with the number. And then you have what we call the people CRM, which is a customer relationship database, which is like, here's my people, here's the people that I do business with. And you get to keep a lot of that data. It's called first party data. It's yours, you own that data. Again, I contrast it with social media, you don't own that information, right? So our goal, again, is to democratize entrepreneurship. We want to bring Fortune 500 level software, like, what the worlds of like the Macy's and the big companies are using in terms of SMS to individuals and small business, right? So we want to democratize it by doing it. I'm going to just switch over to my desktop to just quickly show you, here's what my Preneur looks like. This is my number. If you want to register for the event called Preneur 101, I dropped the link here. You could join. And if I click join, I can, quickly go in. You could register for my webinar, but it's a micro website. It's designed for mobile first. On the go. Here are the links to other things that I have. So it's kind of, a lot of people say, well, it looks like a link tree. Some of it does. And I use this as my link bio on social media. It's all in one. And here are the links that are important to me. I want people to download Preneur. You can customize it, right? I'm going to skip over to a different person. He's a little, Salim Khan. He is a super successful restaurant entrepreneur. He builds some of the amazing restaurants in Atlanta. And he's teaching a course on how to build restaurants, right? So he has lists. He builds his list of people that are interested in building restaurants. They join his phone book. He does a webinar. People can join his webinar. And here's links to other things that he's doing. So this is his webinar that he's doing. People can join it and go on there, right? This is Jacqueline Glass. She is a, let me just refresh this. She is a wellness coach, right? She does retreats. She's focusing on helping women reverse chronic disease. And she uses Preneur because she has multiple links. There are different things that she has going on, right? I should note that, you could join her contact list. You could join her webinar. She has a chronic disease, how to reverse chronic disease webinar coming up soon. So people could register there. You can also like schedule one-on-one time with her, 50-minute call with her as well, right? So this is what the web portion looks like, but then you have the application that allows you to control the look and feel of your web portion, right? This is another Preneur, Brian White. He is a Hollywood actor. He's using Preneur to drive awareness to all the movies that he has coming out. So he'll do a webinar for watch parties, Q&A with the casts of the shows that he's doing. I just wanted to give you guys all just different use cases that we have. And I'll just kind of just get a couple more use cases here. That's people that are a little bit that just launched. I love this brand, To Infinity Eats. She is, they just started a spice brand, all organic. They use, the way they build their list when they're at pop-ups, they'll have the Preneur QR code printed everywhere. And when they sell products at pop-ups, they'll always get people into their phone book, and they'll have the Preneur wristband as well. You can just tap people's phone and all the information comes up. So from here, I can join her text list. I can go to her, I can shop. I can send her a text message. I could save her contact information all with one click. And I can see, oh, here's a link to all her social media as well. I'm going to quickly jump over to the application, and then I'm going to be done, right? Show you. This is what the application looks like. High level. This is my Preneur. I'm going to, don't worry so much about where to click. We could schedule another call where I can show you how to walk through the application. But I just wanted to show you, this is a rendering of what it would actually look like. It's on the web, but it's a phone app. It's really simple to use, right? Here are the messages. And during this talk, while I was talking, I'm going to go through, kind of just show everyone. Here are all the people that are messaging me throughout the talk. I'm going to respond to everybody afterwards. But just to show you, it's just like a regular conversation and a regular talk, right? I can add my bio links. I can set up my opt-in form. I can do an SMS blast, and as well as I have my so my QR code here, which is essentially like, I use this a lot. People could scan, we generate an automatic QR code for you. People use this a lot to kind of just connect, right? And that is the end of my presentation. I know I ran really quickly at the end for the products. Again, the purpose of this webinar was to just demystify SMS marketing. I dropped my link. You guys can register. I'm doing a Preneur 101 Wednesday, October 12th. If you guys want to register for that, I will have a Zoom where I can go more in depth in the product. With that, I'm going to stop.
I've got some questions for you.
Yep.
First is Preneur available worldwide or only in the US?
Great question. For now, Preneur is available only in the US, and it's strategic. And the reason being is we are, Preneur is still in somewhat of a beta phase. Eventually, we will open it up worldwide. You can get a text, we can issue text messages worldwide. Right. If people want to try Preneur today, here's something else. You can just text message the word app to my number, and I'll text you back a link where you can download the app for free right now. So if you text the keyword app to my number, I will text you back a link where you can download the app. And just so you know, everything that I'm doing here, I'm using Preneur. So you can do exactly what I'm doing.
Is there a way to link your business number to the Preneur number so that you won't lose people who know you as your business number, and now you're using a different one?
Yeah, that's a good question. So typically, what you could do in Preneur is that you could forward numbers, right? So if people call your Preneur number, you can have it ring to your regular business number, right? So, but Preneur number is actually your text, your text number. Right?
So if you text somebody through Preneur, they'll see the Preneur number.
Yeah. They won't see your regular business number. So if your regular business number already does text and has the functionality, then it's a little bit difficult, right? Because you already have a functionality that's doing that, right?
And you wouldn't want to have people get texts from you from a number they don't recognize because they won't pay
They
any
won't,
attention
yeah,
to.
they won't know. But what we do is we add a digital card to every text message that we send out. And what does the digital card means, right? So when you send out a text message for the first time, if you guys all saw when you text message me, if you text message my number right now and say nothing, I responded back with my digital card. You can click my digital card and you can see all my information is there, right? So that kind of helps towards that. But Jim, to your point, if you already have a set of customers that you're already engaging using a set of number, there's no way today for us to kind of merge the two, so to speak.
So you may have to, if you want to start with Preneur, you would keep them sort of on parallel tracks.
Exactly. One would be, hey, this is the number that I use for SMS marketing. It's my marketing handle, right? Versus like, people can still call your business. You could say, hey, call us here. And people do that all the time. They'll have a text number and a call number. And on Preneur, you can add a voice greeting where you could say, hey, this is so-and-so from Cookie Shop. This is our text number, right? Use this number to text us. But if you really want to get in touch with us, just call us at this number.
So that would be the way that you would slowly migrate people from your existing text number list to Preneur number.
Exactly. If you already have a list built, if you already built a list, you can say, hey, this is our new text number as well, right? There's some strategies that we've implemented to help ease that pain, right? Feel free to contact me and I'll be happy to talk specifics, understand your business, and we can put together a game plan.
Who owns the customer list at the end of the relationship?
You do. That's the beauty of Preneur, right? It's your customer list. I can't emphasize this enough, right? The technical term for your customer list, to call it first party data, first party, second party, third. All that means is that first party data is data that you collect from your customers that you own, right? When you're on any other platform, whether you're buying lists, it's not first party because you didn't collect it directly. It's all rented versus owned. So the little joke that I like to say internally is like, be your own landlord, like own your data, right? Don't rent it from anyone else. I drive that point home a lot because we get a lot of influencers with millions of followers that will call me frantically because Facebook has changed the algorithm or Instagram has changed the algorithm, and now they have no contact to their customer base. And now these influencers, some have sold millions of records, some are really influential in a particular vertical, in a particular domain, and they've built an influence, but they've never owned that asset. So now that they're locked out, they're freaking out, and that should never happen, right? So that's just another side note.
So I also think, Amadeo, the thrust of that question was if somebody's using Preneur and then for one reason or another stops using that app, the customer list is theirs.
Yeah, customer list is there. We won't kick you out. The customer list is there. At some point, you can export your customer list. The customer list is always just
okay.
No one will ever market to your customer list on Preneur. I just want to make that clear. We take data very serious. Data privacy is something that's core to who we are as a company. So as you build your list, no one's going to market to your list. It'll just sit there until you come back. Yep.
Someone asks, I'd love to add a business line to my cell phone, but I feel like I'm being upsold from my carrier. Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, that's a great question. I recommend starting off with SMS as the primary channel of communication. People are going to want to text you first. Text me for questions, right? And then see the uptick on that. And then you can, on Preneur, enable call forwarding. So I'm a big believer in do something very minimal, test it to see if you really need a business line from your carrier. So study shows that like people prefer to text over call. So depend on the type of business. I don't know the specifics of the business, and depending on what your conversion flow is, but most likely people are going to want to text you over calling, and you can get a business number, but you're not going to get the automation, the text automation that comes with the business number. Meaning you can't set up keyword auto response. You can't automate messages to go out on Christmas and New Year's Eve, and you can't send drip campaigns, meaning send this message on Wednesday and then send a subsequent message on Tuesday. So all those automations, they don't come with a business number. So it's just a matter of understanding what your goals are and then picking the right tool that's going to help you achieve those goals, right?
But if you want to separate your business life from your
Yep.
personal life,
Start with Preneur. Yeah, get a Preneur number like today. You can download the app, get a Preneur number right away and create the automation.
another question is for lead generation types of SMS, what would be the best time to send the first SMS message, and how long after should you send the second one?
Yeah, that's a great question. Study shows like Tuesday and Wednesday mornings around 9. It's a good time to send SMS marketing, to send messages. But it's really, I hate to say this, it really depends on your business and what the goals of what you want to achieve, right? So from a lead gen perspective, my strategy, my personal strategy for lead gen across the board is value first. So I'll do a webinar or a talk where it's truly value first, and then I'll capture people's interest, like just like I'm doing today, super transparent. And then I'll shoot out a text message. You guys are going to get a text message from me. And then in that text message is going to say, hey, you want to schedule time with me? You can. So that's my pattern. There's other different strategies, but that's what I typically use for that. And I'm also, something that's really underutilized is segmentation is very, very important. Think through how you want to segment people into your phone book, because you shouldn't talk to people that are at the top of your funnel the same way that they're in the middle of your funnel, and the same way they're at the bottom of your funnel. So it does require a little bit of strategic thinking up front, goal settings. I feel like this is a long answer, but I need a little more context. But I'm giving everyone super high level patterns that I know that have worked.
I know the answer that it's situational is always unsatisfactory, but it's always the right answer.
Yeah.
Amadeu, that's all the questions that I see. On behalf of everybody who participated in the webinar, thank you very much for your time. It's been very helpful. We did send out a poll, and everybody who responded gave you the highest marks possible.
Thank you.
So again, thank you. I think this is a very important topic. It's a very useful thing for small businesses to be aware of and to think about. So for all those who participated, thank you for your attention as well. We'll see you next time. Amadeu, thanks very much. Take care.
Thank you for having me. Thanks. Have a great day, everyone.